Now I can hear you.
Welcome back to another episode of the GTR podcast. I'm your co-host Daniel. We have our other co-host.
Other co-host Alex. Um, what is up? It's been 2 weeks, so you know what? That's not bad. Be grateful.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, we've got uh a lot to go over, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Um, we got the playoffs just starting this weekend, yesterday and today. Uh, we have ended the season. We're going to gloss over the Pistons. Um, And we're also going to go over some awards, each of the series, where they can be won and lost. Um, and yeah. I forgot to say today is the 21st of April, 2024, but it is literally about to be the 22nd for Dan here. It is already the 22nd. Um,
Um,
so yeah.
what's nice about this pod because we was going to do it yesterday. I fell asleep early, so I didn't get to watch all the games yesterday. But today was really good actually because it kind of worked out. Just for the simple fact is everybody got a playoff game under their belts, so we get to see
Mhm.
teams with a lot of blowouts, some close games, some good stuff to
Yeah,
actually watch. Actually, if you were
yeah.
a basketball fan this week.
I'm not I'm not I didn't watch a crazy amount of the games yesterday, um, for reasons. I was busy, we'll call it. Um, uh,
Um,
but anyway, happy 420 to all of you guys that celebrate. Um,
that like flew over like crazy. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, that's not the reason why I
Anyway,
didn't fall asleep early. That's not the reason why I fell asleep early.
oh,
But
dude, I won't be blown. I was out. I,
he was
I'll be
out. I
blunt
could
and
listen.
candid.
I
I was.
dog boy. He said shit for other reasons. But let's get it. First thing you want to talk about is your what 6'9" wing commit. If I'm not wrong,
Oh
transfer
yeah.
commit.
Oh yeah, we do have a quick Mizzou note. Um, because I'm a college basketball person now. Um, Mizzou signs former McDonald's All-American Mark Mitchell from Duke. Um, I was definitely not expecting this. Um, Holy shit. I shouldn't be swearing this early into the pod. It's gonna wow. Um, who cares? I was not expecting that, but I'm beyond ecstatic. He's great finisher around the rim, great defender, solid handle, kind of a combo wing in a way. Um, and the shot on low volume, I'm pretty sure he shot pretty well this
Um,
past.
while he looks that up, uh, their wing, like okay, Mitchell, Mark,
Mark
go
Mitchell,
with it.
yeah,
Mark Mitchell. He has two first names, but that's not the that's not the point. Mark Mitchell's defense is really good. I glossed over it last night and 2 nights ago. For me watching basketball, NBA, but back to the
yeah.
thing at topic. His defense is really good. I think his best
Hmm.
skill set is being a roamer currently being a roamer
Yeah,
than just being on ball or off ball. And that's usually true for every college defender. You're better as a roamer than currently if you're going to play on ball and off ball just because of how defenses are played in college. But being a good roamer translates, of course, in the NBA well. He has
yeah,
good anticipation in lanes. One thing, having good anticipation means you gamble a little bit too much. He doesn't. I feel like he doesn't gamble unless he knows he can make the defensive play and be a playmaker on defense. Um, that's what
definitely.
I got from the little.
Uh,
Um,
and let me correct myself. This past season, he did not shoot well. He only shot what is it, the 27.5% on 1.2 attempts. The year before, though, he shot 35.2 on an attempt and a half a game.
All right.
So, you know, we'll
It's
see
a
where
work
his
in
jump shot
progress.
goes. Dennis Gates, you can criticize him for a lot of stuff, especially the defensive schemes, but he knows how to work on guys' jump shots. He's done it before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's going to be a work in progress.
we,
But you know, if
he,
anybody follows anything I
absolutely,
say or like players I love a guy who's already a good defender and
yeah.
who just needs to
And
work on a
that's
jumper.
the type.
He said, "What? Say that again."
Yeah, it cut out for a second. Sorry, technical difficulties. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, sweet. But I like my wings. I like my wings and my guards to be sound on defense. So on offense, you just got to worry about
Yeah.
coming over, which is easier said than done. But I feel like coming over on defense is harder to do than coming over on offense. But that's a whole nother story for a whole different time. Um,
Yeah, developing it. So,
yeah, development coming over. I mean, development.
yeah,
Development on offense is a lot easier than defense because defense you have to kind of have it already or have the knowledge of it. But
in a way, yeah. Anyway, that's just the quick Mizzou update there. Not that any of you guys really care. Let's get on to NBA stuff. Let's just do regular season's over. Um, you said you were gonna just gloss over like a Pistons end of year thing.
yep. End of year Pistons thing. They did the exit interviews. Monty might not be gone. Monty looks like he's gonna stay. Legitimately, every player and nobody brought up Monty Williams. Every player damn near vouched for Monty. So like, it looks like he's gonna stay. So Cade
Okay.
Cade was talking about his extension. Of course, he he said he wants it. Of course, um, things like that. You know, Cade. The one thing I
Hmm,
was really happy for is I got to see Asar. Everything's going well with Asar from what is
that's good.
from the interviews and everything he said. And he said this offseason he's working on his jumper, so I can't wait to see it.
All right.
Believer in it. So um, and last person to shout out is to Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey really he was really like professional as hell. He said he agreed with Monty. Him coming off the bench for a certain period of time made him realize that things are not granted. Things are not you can't
Yeah,
take things for granted. Made him a better player. He said so. We're gonna see another year of Monty Williams, basically from what was told from the
yeah.
interviews. Um,
Which is, it's good to know that the players are behind him. Um, it's good to know that the players are behind him because the second you lose a locker room, you're cooked as a coach.
you lose
So
the yeah. So I don't
that
think
that
he
is,
ever lost the locker room there at that point. From what we
yeah,
all was saying, from what we thought that was like falsified and people just saying it, it really wasn't.
yeah.
That's good to know. But
Now,
I don't even want
if
to
I'm
go
being
into.
honest,
Go ahead.
yeah, just as a real quick thing, in my opinion, I think only three players are safe this offseason, and that's Cade, Duran, and Asar. I really
Oh,
think that's it.
mine is different. Mine is Cade, Asar, and Ivy.
Okay. So I I believe in a year three jump for Ivy. Like that's why I would still keep him along,
Uh huh.
especially considering the chances of drafting a shooting guard in the draft. I don't know, it depends on where you guys fall. But
Yeah.
like the chances of you guys being able to draft a guy that's able to really well complement Cade, it's not crazy high, depending on where you guys land in the draft.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm just hoping for number one.
Yeah, for Alex Sarr. If you guys get number one, then yeah, Duran could cash in on Duran, but I don't know. I don't know. In my head, you guys don't need a project.
I think we can listen from, and we're gonna talk about playoffs in a minute. But from this last game from the night against Pelicans and Oklahoma City, it looked like they don't need Bi. That's what it looked like. It looked like Trey Murphy can.
That's crazy.
It looked like Trey Murphy can do what Bi does.
Oh yeah, no, Trey Murphy's awesome.
Herb
Um,
Jones is
I
him.
don't think we've I don't think we've given enough credit to Trey Murphy, but especially not on this pod. I know
No,
we don't talk about him that much, but shout out to him. He's been a great player for a while, and
mm.
it's good to finally see him really start to step into his own.
Same
And
thing with Herb Jones.
you
He
know,
was amazing tonight. Herb Jones was
yeah,
amazing
Herb
tonight.
Jones. We've known Herb Jones is good, and he's just showing it. Now,
Um,
obviously, the shot tonight wasn't really there, but no one really shot well tonight.
who?
Um, I'm saying no one did. Like, if I'm gonna look back, Trey Murphy 8 for 18 was other than Larry Nance, but that's on 6 attempts. Trey Murphy was the most efficient guy on New Orleans.
Yeah,
Um, so really, really, no one shot particularly well.
no,
Um, Herb Jones 2 for 8 from 3 that you'll get. He's a little streaky at times, but
he'll
that's
figure it
fine.
out.
He's still performed well in the past in the playoffs. I still think he's good. He's
And his
fine.
defense has been
Um,
elite. So Bi
exactly.
Bi back to back games where he struggles, boy.
Yeah, and the thing was his shot selection. Some guys do this a lot, um, where they really just force up a shot when I'm just like, just swing the ball. You're being really well defended. You don't need to take a contested midi. DeMar DeRozan does it sometimes,
Yeah,
and it's a little bit frustrating. So Bi was doing.
Devin
Um,
Booker does it sometimes too, and that's annoying too.
yeah, and I'm trying to. There's one guy. I literally have his jump shot in my head. I'm trying to think of who it is. Um, but it
Contested mid
gone a little
ranges or just
infuriating.
contested shot?
Well, in this case, in my head, I have a contested mid-range shot. Um,
I don't know.
oh my God. And I know it's a guy that I really like. Um,
It can't be Russell.
no,
It's not PG.
literally played in the past few games. I think this was a playing game.
De'Aaron.
No, oh my God. Sorry for the listeners. This is not the best potting for me trying to remember a player that I'm
Hold
freaking
on. You said
blanking
he
on.
played in a playing game, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so it can only be De'Aaron Sabonis, Keegan. I'm just gonna name off Keegan. Uh,
I don't think it was the anyone on the Kings.
okay, DeMar DeRozan,
Oh,
Kobe White,
Dejounte Murray. That's what I'm
Dejounte
thinking of.
Murray. Okay, because I was say
Yeah.
I can
As
name
good as
all.
I think he is, as good as I think he is, sometimes he takes too many contested middies.
Oh, that's
As much as
interesting
I
that
love
you
him.
brought up Dejounte Murray. That's interesting. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good pod. This is gonna be a really solid pod because I got some questions.
Yeah.
I got some questions that need to be answered.
Yeah.
Um,
First things first, where is this? Let's just go like reverse order of the games that were played. Um Today, where do you think this Thunder? Well, first off, who do you think wins this Thunder Pelican series?
assuming everything's currently staying where it is and Zion doesn't come back.
Yeah.
I got Thunder and 6. Um,
Hmm.
I think unless BI turns around and say, okay, I got to be that type of player. I think the offensive output that the Oklahoma City Thunder can put out with Shea and like J Dub, and Chet is enough to win them this series. And their defense are both teams are elite on defense. So at that point, it's about who has the better
Hmm.
offensive player and who can put out more, who can put out whose offensive production can be better. And I think the Thunder offensive production can be better. They have better shooters from relatively better positions, as in like Isaiah Joe is a better shooter than Isaiah Joe is a better shooter than anybody who's coming off the
Najee Marshall or
anybody who's coming off the Pelicans bench. Um,
yeah,
Oklahoma's defense is better when it comes to like perimeter wise, and they got a better rim protector. So
definitely.
it's the Zion effect. If Zion was there, I would take the Pelicans because I've seen what Zion
Yeah,
can do. And at that point, nobody can guard Zion on the
yeah,
Thunder, but no Zion, no win for me
yeah,
personally.
yeah.
No series
And
win. No series win. Sorry.
I'm with you on that front. And can we just address like why can't we have nice things? Zion was having his coming out party, and of course he gets injured.
He had 40 on AD. Like 40 on AD,
40, and we were early into the fourth.
bro.
Like,
He
come
would
on.
have had 50. That was a 50 ball just waiting to drop.
Yeah, but no credit to the Lakers. They finished well. Um,
Uh Lakers should have
and
never won,
yeah,
but Lakers should have lost that series, lost that game though. But
shouldn't have or should have.
they should have. I
I
like
mean,
Lake. If Lakers want a
that
better chance, they'll face Oklahoma City. Just that's just me. That's just me though. Uh,
that's also that's also if they manage to beat Denver, which spoiler alert, I don't think is happening.
they're not.
Next we got Pacers Bucks.
Go ahead.
Unless there's or hold on, actually, I have one more thing to add on that last series. Tonight, Josh Giddey only played 20 minutes, and this is not, for me, I'm not surprised by this, but I think it does show that the Thunder are willing to bench guys if it means stuff will work better. Because Giddey, I thought he was the odd man out for a long time. Like even without the off the court stuff, I've thought he was the odd man out, and I think this playoff series will show it. Will show it.
You know, just say it. The offense is not there. He's regressed as an offensive player, and his defense is not good enough to be on the floor.
Well, it's not even as an offensive player. I think it's as an off-ball threat. He's just not one because he's not a good. His I don't remember what his three ball was at. I think it was at 34%. But like all of those are going to be very oh my god. Um all of those were very open threes.
You know,
Um
he
yeah,
was
this
left wide
season
open.
he shot 33.7%.
Josh Giddey was left wide open in basically corners to hit those corner threes, and if he can't do that, if they will let Josh Giddey beat them from three. Like that's what they will do. And the Thunder said, okay, we're not playing this. We're gonna play Carson
Yeah,
Wallace. No, Cason Wallace. I said Carson. Cason
yeah.
Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Gordon Hayward got minutes. You've seen them stretch away from Josh Giddey. You just seen it, and it's not surprising because what can he do as
Mhm.
an offensive player if the ball is not in his hands, and you don't want the ball out of Shea's hands? So
Yeah. And Shea, especially in that first half, was just the only guy who could really consistently get them buckets.
Yeah.
So he's the best player in the series, especially if Zion is out.
Oh, okay.
Um, especially, I think he's already the best player in the series if Zion's healthy.
I
But
think Zion healthy.
like,
Yeah.
it's far and away the best player in the series
Okay.
at this moment.
At this moment, yes.
Especially without Zion, he's far and away the best player in the series.
Agreed.
Um, and I'll be honest, I was now it's also because I really like Shea, but in the I was a little bit nervous that I'm like, how well is he gonna play come playoff time? Because I don't know. And at the end of the day, he was really good. Um,
Shea was really good because he
he
hit that
was
clutch shot. He was pretty. Mm,
he was starting to he was playing poorly in that fourth quarter for a lot of
yeah,
it, but he was the only reason why they were in that game.
that's a
He was
fact.
the one keeping it close for most of the time.
No, I ain't gonna say
Um,
him and J Dub was the only people who was carrying.
yeah, J Dub in that second half, but in that first half, the only
Oh
guy
yeah, it
on
was
that
Shea.
team
It
who
was
could buy
Shea.
a bucket was Shea.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm able to go into a lot of detail because we just watched this game.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, him, him,
so
him, and J Dub was the offensive engines for the whole game for the most part. If it
mhm.
wasn't J Dub,
And
if it
that's how
wasn't
it's been
Shea,
all season.
yeah, if it wasn't Shea, it was J Dub, and J Dub went on his own little run by himself. So shout out to Chubb for being a run protector and being his first playoff series. He was all right. The shooting will
Yeah,
come around with Chet. I'm not worried about it. The run protection was all right. Could
yeah.
have been better.
And once again, and with the shooting, no one shot well.
Yeah,
So it the 3-point shooting dip for everyone, I think, came with jitters, and Chet's not immune to that.
yeah.
Um,
One
so I
thing,
think he'll be
yeah. One thing you can say about, and this is why I like watching the first game of series. The first game is always a filling out process to see what is going on.
fine.
That's the first game series for. Doesn't mean that's how the series is going to be the whole game. No, the whole series. Game one doesn't mean the series is going to be that the whole series. It's just a good filling out process to see what people are and see what matchups you're going to basically hunt for the series. Um,
Yeah.
so we're going to see.
Um,
Your prediction for that series is
I've got OKC in honestly, I think five. Um,
okay.
Closer to six than four, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, and the largest lead literally for the Pelicans was seven, for OKC was 10 today. It was a close game throughout. It was
Yeah.
a really good game throughout.
That's
Well, I
all
say
we
good
asked
game,
for.
really close game. I thought that first half, like outside of Shea, was really hard to watch.
You said really hard to watch. It was kind of
Mhm.
it was kind of hard to watch. But that was that game. Next game on the docket was
Next is
Pacers
Buck
Bucks.
Pacers,
Yep.
and
Go ahead. You go. You go for
you
it.
know, well, Dame is him. We've known this, but playoff Dame is a real thing. Um, wow, he played well. Um, I didn't watch the second half. I'll be honest, I was out, but I thought obviously Dame was fantastic. Um, and the Pacers defense is really unbelievably bad.
It was terrible. The Pacers defense is terrible, and we're the ones that said that was going to matter. A lot of people thought the Pacers defense being bad in regular season wasn't going to matter in postseason. Um, let me show you
Oh
something real
no, of
quick.
course it was been bad.
Oh yeah, let me. I just want to tell you something real quick. defense matters. If you can't defend the ball, you want to get ran out the gym. And that what
Yeah,
happened. Dame scored 19 of his 35 in the first quarter.
like, and from that point, it was just it was wraps
It was right.
because
They were triple teaming Dame in the third quarter.
respectfully, why are you triple teaming anyone? Because that is just how you kill your. That is like how you. That is how you kill your chances in a game.
They were
A
triple
guy
teaming
like Dame.
Dame in the third quarter. Dame was scoreless for the rest of the game. Third quarter, they were triple teaming Damian Lillard. No Giannis on the floor. Um,
Yeah, and that's what's the most terrifying
yeah,
because if the second Giannis is back to its wraps, like I don't. I think the Pacers.
they stand no chance.
I don't think they stand a chance. And going into it, I had some optimism for them, but no, they just looked really bad, and they looked like a team that relies on pace, um, which, in fairness, they are. Um,
The playoffs, we don't care about that. That pace gets slowed down. You got to learn how to play in half
yeah,
court.
yeah, and their half court offense was obviously good, but it wasn't. Today the only guy who really came to play was Pascal Siakam.
That's a
Which
fact.
props to him, he had 36. Um, Pretty damn efficient 36 too.
Like
So
efficient,
credit to him where that's due. Um,
efficient. Tyrese Halliburton, he looked like he was afraid of the moment. I'm not gonna lie to you.
he a little bit, honestly, yeah,
He you didn't see him play with that most like how Lucy usually plays with. He
yeah,
only took 7 shots, which is crazy.
and
Um,
yeah, he was super passive, and you know, I think he will settle in to the series, but I think it's also because he's coming off of a really bad shooting slump, and then you add the playoffs. It's not a great combination.
it's not, but you got to get past it. Dame was shooting bad.
Yeah,
Dame was having a little slump shooting wise. Playoffs come. You see, he said, whole new ball
yeah,
game, zero
yeah.
zero.
This this is why you brought me here.
Yep.
Uh, didn't he say something pretty much exactly like that in the game?
You know
I
what's
thought that
funny?
was cool.
You know what's funny? Because
Yeah,
Tyrese Halliburton he was trolling Dame in the in season tournament, dog.
yeah.
With
He was doing.
the yeah, it was funny because Dame in the press conference said, you got to know when you got to be humble when you're good and you just got to be humble. Some people let it go to their heads. Other people, stay consistent because you never know when your team is going to be good or going to be bad. He definitely just said we're going to beat y'all ass.
Yeah,
Like
and that is one downside to the in-season tournament being when it is,
yeah,
because we were all talking about, oh, this is going to be such a good series if we see it. Bucks Pacers. We're like, oh, I'd pay for good money for 7 games of this, and it kind of died off. It kind of did.
yep. Chris
Um,
Middleton had a resurgence, 9 for 14,
yeah,
23
Chris
points,
Middleton looked good.
double double,
Um,
23 and 10. Bobby Portis double
yeah,
double. Like that was no Giannis.
yeah. You kind of expect that from Bobby Portis, though. Let's be
This
real.
series for me is a sweep. I think they go get swept.
I think this is the sweep. I'm with you on that front.
I think the Bucks is gonna walk in there, walk in your
Yeah.
trap, and but they about to walk into Indy and say this is my home. I think they go get swept. I
Hmm.
think Pacers are going to get swept. I think this is the only. I ain't gonna say that, but I think this is one of the series that are going to get swept in the first round. Um,
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Mavericks Clippers, which I
oh, can I start?
also
Can I start?
have at it. Yeah, you're too excited. Oh dear.
Mavericks Clippers. Oh my boy, I was waiting for this series. No Kawhi Leonard. A lot of people was
Which hurt.
skeptical about how we were going to play with no Kawhi Leonard. We played good. I mean,
Who's
we played.
we,
Hey, yo,
brother?
I'm a Clippers fan.
The
Relax, bro.
Clippers. All
Relax.
right,
I'm a
all
Clippers,
right,
Heat, and Pistons fan. Relax.
all
Um,
right.
but all seriousness, all jokes aside, you got Harden for a reason. Harden showed out. The playmaking was good. The shooting came back 6 for 11 from three. He was getting anything he wanted on anybody who switched. He was getting anything
Yeah,
he wanted on anybody who switched. You saw Paul George more relaxed in the role, in
definitely.
his role that he's asked to be in. PG, and the greatest thing about this right here is Clipper stars took a lot of 3-pointer tips. That's and
Mhm.
it might be Clippers are relatively good 3-point shooting from regular season and in the playoffs, but it's usually
Yeah,
not their best players shooting the three ball consistently. It's the other people who's getting open looks from their best players. James Harden and Kawhi shot double digit. So James Harden and Paul George shot double digit 3-pointer attempts, which was beautiful. I just wanted
mhm.
to see the shot go up. Harden just made shots 28,
Harden
28
looked.
efficient 28. Paul George, he
Yeah,
had a smooth
Harden.
22. The three ball is going to fall for Paul George. He's just the three Paul George is known to be a good 3-point shooter, so it's going to fall.
Yeah,
The bench came to
he'll be
play.
fine.
Westbrook looked good coming off the bench. It was just
Yeah,
beautiful. It was
not gonna.
beautiful.
When I saw that Harden to Westbrook oop, a little tear formed in my eye.
I was
That was
happy. And the greatest part is, if you watch it,
Clippers.
you just see Paul George
I'm,
being happy for those
I'm
two.
going on about it. I love this Clippers team.
And and the greatest thing is you just see Paul George in the background just happy as hell for the Westbrook and Harden. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Um, but for the Mavericks, um, you gotta learn how to defend basketball. It comes back down to you can score all you want. If you can't defend, it's going to be tough. Luka, Kyrie played
Yeah.
like Luka and Kyrie, but that wasn't enough because
Well, that was in the first half. They both struggled a hell of a lot
and you don't expect that from one. You don't expect that, but
from
um,
both of them. You don't expect that from both of them. Like maybe one of the two will have an off little bit, but
and you,
not both of them.
it's crazy because we say that you don't expect both of them to struggle, but it's the playoffs. They guard better. They guard better. They don't let things go. Like teams teams don't let things go as often as they are doing the regular season. But it's the playoffs. You gotta they guard better. They scheme for you, like for you better. Um, and that's not
Yeah,
just saying because Luka's been here. Luka has dominated the Clippers before. We've seen it. Luka's dominated a lot of people. It's just it's a difference when your team is not as good defensively as it's been in like relatively years past. This is not a
yeah,
good defensive team. It really, really relies on Luka and Kyrie more than any other year. Because before you had Tim Hardaway who can give you buckets, you had a lot of other players. You had, of course, Jalen Brunson before Jalen Brunson came Jalen Brunson. But you had other players who can give you buckets. Right now, it's just if Kyrie or Luka ain't scoring, what we gonna
they
do?
could.
PJ Washington, I think he'll bounce back. PJ Washington didn't look good.
Yeah,
Um,
he'll be fine. But what concerned me really was how bad. Like what concerned me was their big man play. Um,
okay.
Gafford only played 14 minutes. Uh, like I didn't see much of him, and it's not because he was playing well and he got hurt. He wasn't playing well, and neither was what's his name, rookie out of Duke, Derek Lively.
Derek Lively.
Like he was a little bit better.
But a little bit better is
Not
still not enough to compensate on how good you really have to be versus like the Clippers and how good Tyron Lue is at coaching series. For the
yeah,
most part, he's really good at coaching series and making good game plans and adjustments. So you have to be just You have to be really, really good to get minutes. And I feel like this is the problem with Dallas. Dallas it's crazy because Dallas tried, and I don't understand it, and maybe it's just me. Dallas tried to play small against the Clippers,
The
which
wrong
really
team.
didn't make sense
Yeah.
because you don't
I
have a
mean,
defender to play small.
yeah. And that's and the thing was also, I was about to say Harden, but Harden did play really well. Ivica Zubac also looked pretty freaking good against, once again, that was against Dallas's bigs who didn't play particularly well. So,
It's a
yeah,
weird thing, and I'm not an NBA coach. I'm nowhere near an NBA coach. I can tell you what goes on, but I don't understand and I had this struggle for multiple years when people face the Clippers and they decide to play small, which doesn't make sense to me. Out of all
yeah,
teams, playing small against
part
the
of,
Clippers is not going to work. Uh, Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's not going to work per se, but it's like I understand the idea of it, especially when the Clippers go small. But I don't know. It's
Let me go
not.
into more detail about that because that
Yeah,
was kind of broad to say. What I
you
mean
got
by
to
that
go a
is,
little bit more into that.
yeah, what I mean by that is the Clippers can play small, but they're still big, if that makes sense. Zubac can
Mhm.
be their center, and they can have just wings spread it around. In previous
Yeah.
years, they had just Kawhi and Paul George be their bigs, quote unquote, and have wings around them. They can do that because height wise, yes, Kawhi is 6'7", Paul George is 6'9". Yes, the height doesn't make sense, quote unquote, but they're strong enough to play bigs, and
Mhm.
it's shown before. The only team that relatively played small against the Clippers and had relative good success was the Nuggets, and um it was the Nuggets and Lakers.
The Suns. Oh, layers. Yeah.
The Suns didn't have relative success just because Kawhi went out.
Yeah, I was gonna say for that series, like that was really just an injury issue.
It was just Kawhi goes out, that series is already over. Uh,
Paul George goes out too.
that series is over. It's just Westbrook, and Westbrook got a game. So like, I just don't understand playing small against the Clippers when it's shown like you want to play big relatively because the Denver Nuggets when they go small relative like when they go small they still have Jokic who's on 7 foot, no Jokic,
Yeah, when I
Porter,
say small, yeah, small in my head means like you don't have a center on the floor.
right? But I think right small means you don't have a center on the
They
floor. But
play the yeah,
even teams because AD is not classified as a center, he's played center and that's their small lineup. Certain teams when they go small, they're still big out on the floor. Like they're still
yeah.
huge on the floor. So I don't understand the notion of playing small against certain teams, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
rant.
I don't. The thing is with this Clippers series, Clippers Mavs series, after game two, we could be talking about an entirely different thing. This series is still very much up for grabs and evenly matched in my head. Um, if
Agreed.
Luke, if Luca and to start at least, I think this is a completely different game. But obviously they don't, and the Clippers just completely run away with it.
Right.
Um, this is good. This is still a very evenly matched series, and I think it very easily could go to seven.
So what's your series predictions then?
I'm gonna go Clippers in seven, but closer to Clippers in six than Mavs in seven.
Oh, okay. Mine is depending on how everything is going. I'll go Clippers in six. If Kawhi comes back and is healthy, Clippers in five.
Yeah, Kawhi was out too. Like they don't have anyone who can defend Paul George.
They don't have anybody who could defend. Right. They don't got nobody who can
Yeah.
defend Kawhi. So like, Clippers is
So
fine if
you
Kawhi
add
comes back.
Kawhi, but you add Kawhi also. I think it's just a very most teams are cooked. Yeah,
Right.
Kawhi.
Because Kawhi is going to guard Luca. Kyrie is going to get guarded by Paul George, and you have fun. Y'all guys have fun, and we're just
Yeah.
going to hunt y'all two on
So
defense. So no on offense. So it doesn't matter.
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
But
Anyway, yeah. Next series we got good old Heat Celtics. I don't think there's a crazy amount to cover here, especially with uh Jimmy Butler out. Why can't we have nice thing? Well, I say we. I'm a Celtics fan, of course, so I'm a little bit grateful that Jimmy's out, but more than a little bit grateful. Obviously, I don't wish injuries on people, but oh my goodness, this makes our lives way easier. Um, Especially if Jimmy's out the whole series, I just don't see how the Heat keep it close. I don't see how it happens.
so it's a, I said it was going to be. I said there is a sweep in this series in the first round. This is a series that might get swept also. I'm
Yeah,
optimistic. I'm a Heat fan too. So y'all know I'm gonna say Heat and seven, gang. Uh Celtics about to dog walk the Heat.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to six if the Celtics just get in their own way again. But
It ain't happening. It's going. It might not happen. Like Celtics ain't gonna get in the way in this series because they know the Heat and they know if you give the Heat a game, they feel like they can do whatever they want. But I think it might happen in a later series. But this series, I sadly, if I'm being a realist, I sadly have to say the Heat is going to get swept. The Heat is going to get swept. Celtics for too much offensive
yeah,
firepower, and their defense can go pound for pound, so it doesn't matter. Unless Bam start hitting threes, Tyler Hero become consistent, and Terry Rozier comes back and just a bucket. But it's a lot for them to get not swept.
yeah.
You can
Um,
talk about the series because this is your team.
I don't have a
Only thing
crazy amount.
before is um at this point, play like you have nothing to lose because you really don't have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
If Jimmy comes
yeah,
back, okay, now we got a fighting chance. But no Jimmy, just play our hearts out. I want to see y'all play our hearts out, but as in the improvements or things to watch. If you're a Miami Heat fan, you want to see how Tyler Hero plays when defended differently from different defenders. You want to see his efficiency goes up. Nikola Jovic looked good in the first game for parts of it. You want to see that more consistent, and you want to see Bam be more offensive. Like since there's no Jimmy, you want to see Bam carry the offensive
yeah,
load, and just not Tyler Hero and Bam screens and Tyler just pulling off the screens. But
yeah. One thing, there were two things actually that I got from this game. First things first, obviously, once again, no Jimmy, but the Celtics learned how to beat a freaking zone. Hallelujah.
y'all did learn how to beat the zone.
And it's Chris, and it's a lot. A lot of it revolves around Kristaps Porzingis. Um,
Which is crazy.
Obviously, he had
Which is crazy. Hold up, because
Kristaps had a crazy game. Kristaps was crazy today. Made up for the fact that Tatum went 1 for 8 from three, but Tatum's playmaking looked pretty solid. And the second thing, the second thing I took from this game was Celtics only turned the ball over 10 times, right?
yeah, they
Yeah,
kept some numbers
only
low.
10 times against the Heat, who historically, typically, well, not typically, historically, Celtics haven't been able to beat the Heat zone and have gotten turned over to hell and back against the Heat.
Yeah,
So being able to see that improvement does give me some hope, more than
All I
some
can
hope.
say is the only reason why y'all beat our zone is because Jimmy wasn't there. Because hear me out. The side, and this is no like this is no like glaze or anything like that. But the side that y'all really set up is on the left side. Y'all you really set up to beat y'all to be our zone. Y'all set up on the left side with Tatum at the top of the arc. Tatum is
Mhm.
either top of the arc or left side of the court, and then y'all just swing from Tatum's side. The
Yeah,
person who's usually on that backside is Jimmy, but since Jimmy's not
Jimmy.
there, it's Bam, and Bam is out the paint now, and it's easy. If Jimmy was there
Yeah,
on that side,
well,
but that's a whole scheming
yeah,
thing.
that is true. But I'm talking also about just in that so many times we're just working from one side to the other, and it's either a Pritchard or Hauser open three, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how you beat a zone.
And
Um,
y'all having this is kind of underrated, and I didn't see it, and I think you'll see it more. You guys will definitely see it more coming now. Having Drew Holiday being a connector and being a faster, like he's making reads faster.
faster process.
Y'all just got so much
Yeah,
like the offense just got so much better, like so
yeah,
much better.
and the playmaking, and there's a lot more of once again a big difference. It's a lot more playmaking by committee than having Marcus Smart run the offense, which again, love Marcus Smart, but he's not
You know how that went.
Drew. Drew, I think, is a better processor of the game.
Yep.
I think he's a better processor of the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, Also,
go
y'all are
ahead.
not asking Jalen Brown to make decisions, like as in like playmaking decisions, and y'all letting
Yeah.
Jalen Brown just be Jalen Brown, which is great for him. Because all you ask
Mhm.
Jalen Brown to do is to be a two-way player, put the ball in the basket, go defend. You're not asking him to make
Yeah.
reads. Shout out to y'all for helping y'all star player.
Making those adjustments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, Next series we got. Well, hold on. Your prediction is.
Oh, we getting. Why would you ask me that?
I wanted to make sure. I wanted to be on the record. It's Heat getting swept. Okay, I'll say it for you. Mine. If Jimmy comes back, they'll get that game.
If Jimmy
But
comes back, we beating y'all
Celtics in
7.
four.
We beating y'all if Jimmy come back.
All
Jimmy
right.
go.
Uh,
Oh my god.
next,
Yeah, we're getting swept, sadly.
next we get Nuggets Lakers. I don't know. This is the same. This is like the same series as last year in my head.
It
The
is.
Lakers can do good as they want, but the Nuggets are just better.
Yeah. You know what the
And
problem is? And people, I still can't fathom people don't understand this. Um, the Nuggets have the best player in the world currently. And when he decides to win a basketball game, he's gonna win a basketball game. Listen, because it was funny. I watched that game from the beginning to end. And listen, the Lakers looked like they was in the game. LeBron had a logo three. They beat the buzzer at the halftime. It looked like the Lakers was really about to, right hand the Nuggets. Jokic legitimately said, "All right, it's time for me to win." Couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. They put AD on him. AD almost got in foul trouble. Rui tried to guard him. Rui's too small. And then they just Jokic is the best. Jokic in the NBA is the best zone breaker. He said, "Okay, Porter, hit this one for me." Porter hits a three. Murray started heating up. It was raps.
just absolute raps. And like, there's just not that much you can do. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell could have had a better game, obviously, but all right. There's not. They don't have the bench depth
All
either.
right.
Uh, I just don't see how the Lakers win. Darvin Ham was on about, okay, we're gonna throw him. We didn't want to show all of our ideas to guard Jokic in one game. I just don't trust it working.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Whatever ideas you have, Darvin, it ain't gonna work. It's not.
Yeah.
They're the best duo in the league is not going to. Jokic and Jamal Murray work together so well, and then they just have the pieces to complement each other. KCP seems like KCP is
One of
just
the
a
best
winner
role
in
players
life.
in the league.
KCP is an elite, like you talk about 3-and-D guys. KCP is up there. He's up there. He shoots the three ball very efficiently, very efficiently. It could be off moving, it could be off catch and shoots. He's just a good 3-point shooter. Michael Porter, he has the shot. He has the shot instincts of I'm gonna make every shot that I take, so that's not going to affect him.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon's another defender who's complements Jokic very well. Jokic,
Mhm.
you can't finish like Jokic. You can finish around the rim, but I can finish below and above the rim. I can defend
Above
bigger
the
players
rim.
that you don't feel like defending. We are fine.
Yeah.
We are fine. Um, I don't know what Bron and AD can do. One thing that did look good for him is Bron and AD did keep him in the game. It's just like at,
Definitely.
at the end of the day, the Lakers has the worst supporting cast, and
Hmm.
Nuggets have a better supporting cast, and it's tough.
Nuggets have a better supporting cast, and honestly, they've got the better duo purely through Jokic. So there's not much they can do. There's really not.
Do you think
I
they
don't
take a
see it
game?
going past 5 games.
Ooh, are you? Ooh, so you think they take one game?
Maybe. I'll say they'll take one just because fuck it. But
I said they take one just because Braun, the Braun effect. I think Braun is. I think LeBron's can get one game. I don't think. Question. This is my no, because both games is at Denver. I don't think they get a game then. Um, I don't think they get a game. I think Denver is just Denver is the best team in the West for me. It's hard to beat
mhm.
that team. It's really hard to beat that team. And when Jokic decides to win a game, he can propel himself to win a game. And I've seen it on the biggest stage, and I've seen it against better like defensive who I've seen it against AD, Bam, Jaren Jackson, and none of them, and we consider them really, really elite defenders, couldn't do anything with Jokic. So,
None of them
so
can
it's
do a thing.
tough. It's super tough to beat Jokic. Um,
Yeah,
you say 5, I say 4.
fair
Jokic.
enough.
Fair enough.
Anyway, next series. This is this is going to be a great series. Sixers Knicks.
Go ahead.
I'm here for it. Um, I don't have a clue. This is going to be a super chaotic series. Um, in the best way possible, and I'm here for it. Um, there's not much. Jalen Brunson is that guy, of course. Embiid, we'll see how his health looks. He went down really badly, and you could tell he wasn't himself. He wasn't as aggressive as he normally was after that,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is a shame. But
At this
I don't
point,
know.
at this point, okay, this is one of the series I think can go 7, and I still don't have a winner. I think go 7. I don't have a winner.
Yeah,
Um, one thing I can say about the series is it sucks because again we don't wish injuries on anybody. The way he failed wasn't good. Julius Randle's out for this series. That's something to keep in mind. But
yeah,
they've been playing fine without Julius. Jalen Brunson showed that he's a top 15 player in this league, so they're going to be fine. Best believe the Knicks are going to be fine. Um, I know we haven't talked about people or the end of the road for certain people this playoffs yet, but I think we got to start questioning after this season if Embiid doesn't get out this first round. And I hate being one of those people, but we got to start questioning Embiid's health. We got to start questioning a lot if Embiid can't stay healthy this first round. I know he had nagging injuries and he had injuries coming in, but it's it's really like it's more of a what if and
It's just happened so many times that like how many times can you keep trying to run it back? And I think next season with their cap space, yeah, sure, you can try,
and
but
I really like as much as I like Jokic and I think Jokic is the best player, Embiid is also a hell of a player, and I just want him to see I want to see him have playoff success, but it's so
yeah,
hard.
I just want to see him healthy for a playoff run.
Like that's
And unfortunately, we're not going to get that. I don't think we'll get it this year. Um, because he's been hurt. He's just coming back from an injury and he just hurt himself again.
yeah.
So
um
it sucks, but
because Embiid is the best player in this matchup. Nobody will bat an eye and say he's not. It's just is he going to be on the floor and how long is he going to be on the floor? You can be the best player,
yeah,
but if you're not on the floor as possible,
it's not
then
only it's not only not being on the floor. He plays differently when he's carrying an injury, as
mm,
everyone does.
yeah,
And if he's not at his best, Philly can't be at their best.
Philly
And
can't be at his best.
it's kind of I don't like Philly in the slightest, but
You got to feel for Philly.
it's an
You got to
you
feel
got to
for him.
feel for
Tyrese
him.
Maxey looked solid. He looked solid.
He was awesome.
He looked really.
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah,
wondering why they got Buddy Hield. Um,
no, I'm not, and he's showed some playoff jitters definitely. This is his first playoffs,
That's fair. That's fair. I just I think he's being more
so
hesitant from three, which is crazy to say about Buddy Hield, but I feel like he's not. I'm not even gonna say confident in his shot. It's just he's taking threes that I usually see him take an attempt. He's not doing it right now, and he didn't
yeah,
do it in the first. He didn't do it in the playing game. And he had some big shots in the playing game for
yeah,
them, but it's
yeah.
not like
And the thing is also,
go ahead
yeah, the thing is also, well, first off, shout out just for his playing game, Nick Batum. Um,
carry them to the win.
and yeah, um, but Buddy Hield only played 11 minutes, and that actually, I'm looking at Nick Nurse and like, I I get you don't want to play that many bench dudes, and he's historically not a guy who uses his bench much. But hello, like I know he's not the best defender, but he's worth more than 11 minutes in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm. Um,
If Nick Batum can play 26 minutes in a playoff game, you can give Buddy Hield more than 10 or
exactly.
11.
Um, it's another player who showed out. It's another player for Philly who showed out. Shout out to Kelly Oubre. He looked good.
Oh yeah,
I thought Kelly Oubre was kind of overrated coming into this season. He's shot down my overrating
yeah,
aspect of him. He looked good defensively. He looked locked in defensively, and offensively, he looked solid.
yeah. Yeah, his defense looked and was fantastic.
Was
Definitely
fantastic.
not a side I think any of us
I did
saw
not
in
him
him.
being a good defender or like I did not have that checked off in his box. But shout out to him for proving me wrong. Um, Somebody who hasn't proven me wrong or who's still been consistently ass, but he's never going to take the blame for it, or nobody blames him. Is Tobias Harris.
If you on Twitter, oh my God, he gets flamed. So don't worry, don't worry. People are blaming him.
Boy, three missed layups is crazy. You get paid the second most on the team, and you are giving me 9 points. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you showed up, if you've been and you have been the running cause of Philly fans, Philly like people just don't like Tobias Harris in Philly because he's overpaid
Yeah,
and nobody he rarely gets to blame for when they play bad. Like he rarely
yeah.
gets to blame for it.
But
And not
but this is
Tobias Harris is.
He's tanking his value. That's all I'm gonna
Dog,
say.
I mean, what? You get paid the second most, and you're playing probably the worst. You played the worst. You was the worst player in that game. You were the worst player in that game. Kyle Lowry played better than him. Kelly Oubre played better than him. Tyrese, Joel, Nick
The
Batum.
worst starter.
Nick Batum played better, bro.
Yeah, that's low key crazy. Well, Nick Batum was just 1 for 4, but like, and all of them from three. But like in general, we're having conversations about who played better between Nick Batum and Tobias Harris. We have issues.
We have issues, bro. We have issues, bro.
So, but the thing is, that's a contract that they're off of. So next year is their last year, I
Yep.
think.
For the
And
Knicks,
as it comes to the Knicks, yeah,
shout out to the Knicks. They tried to play the Josh Hart, can you beat me from three? And Josh Hart said, yes, I can.
yes,
Yes, I can. Josh Hart looked amazing. Mitchell Robinson looked good. Like
yeah.
on the offensive
Miles
glass. Like
McBride looked. Miles McBride was amazing. Um,
the person who I
I
didn't think was going to be good, like, the person who I didn't expect to have a bad game, and he had a bad game, was Dante DiVincenzo this game. But Dante had a bad game, so guess what? Josh Hart said, "Don't worry, big bro, I got you."
see not only Josh Harper, Miles McBride. Shout out to him.
Miles
He
McBride has
had a
been
fantastic game.
Miles McBride a playoff riser. Hey,
Hello,
hello.
yeah,
OG Anunoby played solid. He did what he was supposed to do, but Josh Hart and Miles McBride, of course, Jalen Brunson did what Jalen Brunson does, but those two really sealed the game for them, saying, "Okay, I can coming off the bench. Don't worry, bench. Josh Hart, you can get some rest. I can carry this bench unit for a minute." And then
mhm,
when Miles McBride came off the bench and said, "Jalen Brunson, you can get some rest. I can carry this bench unit." He
yeah.
shot the ball
And
well. Go ahead.
Brunson wasn't the most efficient, but he'll be better.
He'll
He's
be better.
fine. And yeah. Do you have a series prediction?
7, and I still don't got a winner.
Okay. I got I'm actually fairly confident the Knicks are gonna win this.
It depends.
Even with
Depends how Joel Embiid
Embiid,
comes back from me.
yeah, I don't think he's gonna be fully healthy for the series. So um I see Philly maybe struggling to get everything together on a consistent basis.
Okay.
So I've got the Knicks in 7, and it's going to be a hell of a series. But
This is probably going to be the best
yeah,
watch series, as in like a series you got to tune into. Um,
yeah, definitely.
next series is next series
We
is
got two more. We got Suns Timberwolves, which is one on paper that
sounds good.
I was with well, one on paper that I'm still intrigued in.
Go
Um,
ahead. Go ahead. I gotta get my charger real quick. Go ahead.
and obviously every you good every 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 series on paper is going to look weird when you've got Cat at the 4 and Rudy Gobert at the 5. So, that does create some matchup issues for them. But that's what causes the intrigue. Like, what do you do there? And obviously, they're going to be. What am I even saying? Um, you asked me to carry the pod, and it didn't go well.
Oh, it's okay. So
But I
on
was talking
paper, like you
about,
said, on paper, it looks good.
yeah.
Actually
Well,
watching,
and I was saying matchup wise, like every Timberwolves series is going to be interesting because you've got two centers on the floor. in your starting five. So they don't have. Oh, well, they do. Yeah, but they do have. But the intriguing thing is, they do have a solid enough like KD deterrent in uh Jaden McDaniels. Deterrent, not he's going to stop him because he's not going to stop him, but
Deterrent, not
he's
even.
good
They
enough.
don't have. What I picked up from this series is um the the Timberwolves are going to win because the Timberwolves can play defense.
Mhm.
Um, they're in that might be like a broad that is a broad statement just to say and blah blah blah. The Timberwolves can really play defense. He said they got the KD deterrent. I don't even think that's fair because like
No, and
Jimmy,
it didn't work in the. It
it
didn't
didn't
work
work. You only
in the
missed six shots. It
first.
didn't work. And
Yeah,
and and you know what's crazy about that? When you look, if you just box score watch, you're going to say he only missed six shots. He only took jumpers. KD only took
yeah.
jumpers. He legit only took from watching from the beginning. He only took jumpers. And he was 32 points on 17 shots. He only took
Hmm.
jumpers, was buckets. It didn't matter who it was. The problem is
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards can do the same thing KD does. Um, as in like score the
Scoring
ball,
wise,
as in score the ball. Right. And
I matched KD's scoring, and the problem was, well, Devin Booker had a really bad game. Um, and this happens with dudes all the time, but still created a huge issue for them. Um, and really, I I thought this was going to be a really close series at first. And after watching that first game, I don't want to completely overreact, but the scoring punch that the Timberwolves are able to give, plus their defense,
you know what's the scariest part?
gives
The
them a
scary
good chance.
Devin Booker
Yeah,
didn't Devin Booker didn't show up, but I don't think that's going to matter. And that's crazy for me to say because Devin Booker is the lead scorer. I don't think Phoenix can
yeah,
match the pace of the Timberwolves. And what I mean by that is when
like the scoring.
right, and when the Timberwolves want to run, they can actually run. Like they're not known as a team that plays with pace and it can run up the floor. But when they want to run against a team, and definitely a team that's like the Suns, they can run. The Suns can't run with Minnesota, and that's the problem. Jokic, no, I say Jokic. Nikola, I can. I said Nikola.
Yusuf Nurkic.
I know, right? I'm thinking about Nikola. Yusuf Nurkic cannot. His foot speed is not good. He's not a good
Yeah,
defender. He can't move in space. He can't guard in space. What can you do for me?
yeah, and he's definitely a guy who's at risk of getting played off the floor.
He
Um, and if your main big is getting played off the floor against Minnesota, you might be a little bit cooked.
you're getting played off the floor by Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert defensively is an elite. He's actually improved defensively if you watch the season. Offensively, he's still
Mhm.
the same guy. You're getting
Just a rim runner and call it a day.
you're getting played off the floor by him. Um, Anthony Edwards, he was going bucket for bucket with KD, and he was talking to KD crazy. And
That was
what that
that
was
was
entertaining.
fun.
What was the best thing about it is when they bench came in, it felt like no steps was missed when Minnesota's bench came in.
When exactly, and there's also a huge thing because the significant for Phoenix, I think they've only got one, maybe two solid guys off the bench. Royce O'Neal, and I think Josh Okogie's good,
Yeah, I think
but
Josh Kogi needs minutes coming off the bench.
I don't know why he didn't get any real minutes. Like, come on. oh my God, what's their coach's name? Frank Vogel. I'm looking at you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, especially if you need it, especially if you need a guy who can actually guard Anthony Edwards somewhat. I'm looking at Josh Okogie to do that at least for some minutes, as many minutes as you can.
Mm.
Um, not
There's three
just four
players they
minutes
should
a
play
go.
off the bench consistently. It's Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie, and Royce O'Neal. After that, they can't go
Yeah,
deeper in the bench, but that's how deep you
no,
usually go. To
but it's the playoffs. So
exactly, that's how deep you usually go. But the problem is Minnesota can go into their bench and have their bench play longer, and they have a better bench when they go
exactly.
to their three. Nas Reed, Nikhil Alexander Walker has transformed into a great two-way player, and they
Hmm.
have Monte Morris who can run an offense
Kyle
coming.
Anderson, Morris.
Yep, they got Monte Morris coming off the bench who can run an offense for a minute. So
Yeah,
scary times for Minnesota. Scary times for Phoenix. Minnesota, you are up and you dogged them. You dogged them.
that was a um, honestly, I've got Minnesota in 6.
I got Minnesota in 5.
All right. I'm trying not to overreact too much, but that was about as convincing as it gets from Minnesota in that first game. Um, and the last series we have is Cleveland against Orlando. Um, definitely one of the games of all time. That first game. Um, that was my. What was your one takeaway from? Did you have a big takeaway from the game one?
Yes, I did actually. Like, oh, he was takeaway. Um, and as you see, he doesn't overreact from game ones. I definitely overreact for game ones. Game one showed me Orlando half court offense can't mess with Cavs half court offense. Both teams are great defensively, so that cancels each other out. Donovan Mitchell gave you 30, and he wasn't even 100% healthy. Evan Mobley started shooting threes, and he made both of them.
Yeah, Evan Mobley shooting 2 for 4 from three was objectively hilarious. Um,
I just don't
just
think the Magic outside of Paulo has a half court creator, and that's a problem.
yeah.
That's a problem.
Um, and they've got their defense is what got them to where they are, but I think this is as far as. But I think they're just being held back way too much by their offense.
Yeah, and
Um,
their defense got them what they where they are. But guess what? Cleveland is an elite defensive team too, so it doesn't like it.
it cancels. It all
Um,
cancels, and again, just the Magic don't have the creators that
they don't have the backcourt.
Cleveland has.
They just don't have the backcourt to create with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland can. Um,
Mhm.
also, shout out. One thing for Orlando is shout out to Orlando because y'all really got DPOY player over there. He just doesn't get more than 30 minutes a game. Um,
Oh yeah,
Jonathan Isaac will
John Isaac.
John Isaac will be a DPOI winner if he got 30 minutes a game. If he got consistently 30 minutes a game, he got a DPOI in his career if he gets 30 minutes a game. He was amazing defensively. Paulo, you look good. Franz, are you the second best player in Orlando? I don't know at this point. Your shooting has came down to earth and then below. Um, I just want to see the adjustments I want to see Orlando's coach in Orlando to make is Jalen Suggs. How about you guard Donovan Mitchell from jump? Um,
Yeah,
I don't know how much is that going to help because they still got Darius Garland, but how about you just guard Donovan Mitchell from jump and excuse me, um, if Mobley is shooting threes, this series is in 6. If Mobley
oh
can,
yeah. If Mobley is shooting threes, everything looks different for Cleveland. Like what?
like, if Mobley's shooting threes, this is a whole different Cleveland team we're talking about. Donovan Mitchell
Mhm.
again, he looked amazing, and he wasn't at 100%. And Darius Garland, he's got to get back in the groove. Luckily, they have the team for him to. We don't need you to be elite right now, but you can start slowly coming back into it. Shout out to Jared Allen too, because what's underrated is having a play finisher who can finish legitimately everything around the rim.
Mhm.
Jared Allen can do that. He can finish anything around the rim. If he catches a
Yeah,
low, he can go up strong and finish high. If he catches it high, he can be a lob threat. He just finishes things around the rim. So, and he
yeah,
rebounds very well. And that's another thing that Orlando is going to struggle with is rebounding. They can't rebound with Cleveland. So
Cleveland. Yeah,
it's a lot of things they're going to struggle with. Half court offense, rebounding, and just matching the pace that Cleveland can put you at.
yeah. Um, and Paolo's obviously a good creator, but they don't have any real guys that you've got to really respect their three ball.
Yeah.
So that I think is going to really hold them back. And they're not expected to go far. Like this is a good the Magic is still a very young team. They're still technically well, not in a rebuild, but they're a young team. They're an up and coming team. You know, I don't want to I don't want it to sound like, oh, the Magic are cooked forever and ever and ever, because they're not. Paolo's in his second year. They've got some good young guards. Jalen Suggs was awesome this season. Franz Wagner's still a damn good player.
They
It's
just need an
just a
offensive.
matter of
They just need a guard who
figuring it
can
out.
make and give you an offensive push, and they don't have that.
Yeah.
AKA a Trey Young
And
will
I
look
think they
fire.
would be interesting.
If
I'd
they
be
had
here
a Trey
for it.
Young, that Paulo and Trey pick and roll,
Crazy.
or if they had a Kate Cunningham,
We don't want to see Kate. We don't want to see Kate in Orlando.
we don't.
We
We
don't
want to
want
see
to see
Paulo in
Kate.
Detroit. Let me stop.
Yeah, because that's gonna happen.
Right. Jaden Knight.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
Jaden
also
Knight, Jalen Duran, 4 first-round picks.
I don't know why either team would do that. Um,
Hey, yo, call me up. We keep us. Shut up. But yeah.
all
I
right.
think Cleveland wins
Anyway,
it.
Cleveland wins in six. I got him in five. Um, I think there's going to be a game where the Magic shoot well from three and they win that game, but that's I just don't think they've got enough offense.
I agree.
Anyway, we're good to close this out.
Yeah, we're good to close it out. Go ahead.
All right. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Game Time Review podcast. Uh, if you enjoyed, please leave a like if you're on YouTube, rate 5 stars if you are on Spotify. Feel free to follow us. The links to our socials will be in the description. If you're on YouTube, also please subscribe. If you're on Spotify, feel free to drop a follow. And if you're feeling extra generous, share the pod with someone who you think might enjoy it. Uh, anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night.
You sound like a robot when you said that info.
I know I did.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you guys for listening. This will be out tomorrow. Um, I will make sure it will be out
Awesome.
tomorrow. Um, thank you guys. We'll see y'all next
All
week
right.
or the end of this week, actually, depending on how we do.
Yeah, probably end of this week.
Mm-hmm. All
All
right,
right.
guys. We'll see you.
Peace.
Peace.